Hi everybody, it's Miss Johnson. Today we are going to be working on converting fractions, decimals, and percents. We're specifically going to be working on, in this video, fractions to decimals. I just wanted to remind you that fractions, decimals, and percents, they can be equivalent. They all show parts of wholes, and so they can be equivalent, like 1/2, 5/10, and 50% all represent the same part of the whole. Okay, so if I told you I have $50, well, you would know that $50 is 50 cents. But I could also say 5/10 of a dollar. 5/10 of the dollar is also 50 cents. And if I said 50% of a dollar, that is also 50 cents. So it's three different ways to write the same value. Okay? So fractions, decimals, and percents, they can show equivalency. So today we're going to talk about a fraction to a decimal. How do we change a fraction to an equivalent decimal? And the reason we need to know this is, one, of course, it's going to help us in our math classes. It actually helps a lot because not just in math class, but in anything, we might be given a fraction, but it might be easier to put it in the calculator as a decimal, right? To either multiply it or divide it or whatever it is we have to do with it. So sometimes being able to change a fraction to a decimal is real important. Okay, so if you hopefully you have the foldable. If you don't, you can just copy this into your notebook. Okay, so make sure you put your title, fraction to decimal. And we're going to think about something that we learned already. And we learned about this symbol right here. And we learned that that was a division symbol. So I'm going to use this example right here. 3/4. 3/4 is the typical 3/4 that we know, right? 3 out of 4 pieces. But it's also 3 divided by 4 like this. And it's also 3 divided by 4 like this. So all of those are equivalent expressions and mean the same thing. So all we have to do when we're making a fraction into a decimal is to divide it. The numerator goes inside the division box and the denominator stays outside the division box. Okay, and we did that division right here, right? 4 can't go into 3, goes 0 times 4. I didn't put that one, but 4 goes into 30. 7 times, subtract, we get 2, bring down to 0, 4 goes into 25 times. So 3/4 is equal to 75 hundredths. Now one thing, I'm going to write that right here because that's a lot of equals right there. So let's write that. 3/4 equals 75 hundredths. Now a mixed number to a decimal is basically the same thing. So 5 3/4 is equal to 5 75 hundredths. So the 5, we just bring it over. It's in the ones place already, right? It's in the ones place. We don't need to change the ones place. The ones place is the same whether it's a fraction or a decimal. And then the 3/4 becomes the 0.75, and we do that by division. So when you have a mixed number, you just bring the whole number over and then you just divide the fraction. You always put the numerator inside and the denominator outside. Okay, so one thing that lots of kids get mixed up for whatever reason is they put the wrong number on the inside. They put the wrong number on the inside and the wrong number on the outside. So one way, actually a student taught me this, to try to remember it, is to remember how neato this is. So neato. Neato. Yeah, those letters stand for something. Y'all are getting it. So remember, we said the numerator goes where? Inside the box. Numerator inside, and the denominator goes outside the box, denominator out. So neato, numerator in, denominator out. Okay, so the n is the numerator. So numerator Oh, I probably should have made the arrow go the other way. That's okay. Numerator in, and then denominator out. Okay, so that can help you remember. Just a neat little thing to help you remember that the numerator always goes inside, no matter what. If it's an improper fraction, like if you remember when you did improper fractions, let's just say, I don't know, 7/4, right? Improper fraction. The numerator goes inside and the denominator goes outside. And we'll go ahead and make this a decimal too. Add a decimal and a 0. 4 goes into 7 once. Bring up my decimal, bring down my 0. 4 goes into 10, 4, 8 twice. Bring another 0 down. 4 goes into 20 5 times. 4 times 5 is 20. Ooh, run out of room. So 7/4 is equal to 1 and 25/100. So no matter what, the numerator always goes inside the box and the denominator always goes outside the box. Okay? So maybe we should add something to this too. Notice right here, we make sure we have to add that decimal and 0. Okay, so let's add that. Divide the numerator by the denominator. And then let's just do like this and say add decimal and some teachers say to add 2 zeros, some people say add 3 zeros. I would just say add 1 0 at a time until you till your division, till you can stop dividing. We'll just put add a 0. Okay. Yeah, we'll say until you can stop dividing. Okay, so we're going to practice. We're going to practice with 1/3 and 16 1/3. So we're going to do neato, numerator in, denominator out. So I'm going to say 1 divided by 3, add my decimal and a 0. How many times is 3 going to 1? 0. Bring my decimal up. How many times is 3 going to 10? 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract, I get 1. Add a 0. Bring it down. 3 goes into 10 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract, I get 1. Add a 0. Bring it down. 10 again. Started with 10. Have 10 again. 3 goes into 10 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Again, had a 9, a 9, a 9. And I get a 1 again. So if I add another 0, it's going to be another 10. And it's going to just keep going as 3s. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So this is a special number because that 3 is going to go on forever. We could keep dividing until we turn 85. And it will keep being 3s. Okay, this is called a repeating decimal because that 3 repeats over and over and over again. So, you know, mathematicians, we're not going to write all those 3s, right? We want to make things short and succinct. So instead, what we do is we write it this way. See, we put the 0 because the 0 is there. Decimal. We put the 3. And the 3's repeating. So mathematicians have come up with a symbol. And that symbol is just a little line over it. I call it a repeating bar. I'm not really sure what the official mathematical name is. And the way you say it is you say 0 and 3/10 repeating. Okay, so 1/3 equals 0 and 3/10 repeating. So when you're using that repeating bar, it only goes over what is repeating. So a 3 is repeating, so we put it over just the 3. We don't put it over the 0 and the 3, just the 3. Okay? All right, 16 1/3. So 16 1/3, so we have the whole number, right? We have the 6 in the 1's place and the 1 in the 10's place. that's going to stay in the same place. That's the whole number. So we're just going to bring the 16 straight over, right? And then the 1/3, we already figured out what the 1/3 equals is a decimal, right? It equals 0.333333 forever, or 0 3/10 repeating. So instead of writing the 1/3, I'm going to put the decimal. I'm going to write the 3 with the repeating bar on top of it. Very good. All right, so if we look up here at the top, you just slide your foldable down, right? Look right there. It says fraction to decimal. It says convert these fractions to decimals. So it's your turn to practice, okay? So you're going to pause the video and you're going to answer number 1. Then you're going to unpause it and make sure you got it right. Then you'll pause the video and do number 2. Then unpause it and make sure you got it right. Okay, so don't cheat and just watch the video, because if you don't practice math, you are not going to learn it. Okay, you have to learn by practicing and by doing the math. So make sure you're practicing. Okay, that's why we do math in pencil, by the way. I'm only doing mine so you can see it in pen, right? But you need to do yours in pencil so that you can erase it. Okay, so go ahead and try it. Remember to do, what's our little shortcut that's going to help us remember? Nido. Numerator in, denominator out. Okay, so make sure you do Nido. Pause the video. All right, so 3/5. So we're going to do Nido, numerator in. So our numerator is 3. So 3 divided by 5. Add my decimal and my 0. So 5 goes into 3 0 times. 5 goes into 30 6 times. So 3/5 equals 6/10. Okay, I hope you got that right. If you didn't, erase what you had, and rewrite it the right way, and then try number 2. Okay, number 2, I see that I have a whole number, so I'm just going to bring that whole number over, and I'm going to worry about the 5/6. So 5/6, I need to do Nido, numerator in, denominator out. So I'm just going to come over here, 5 divided by 6, so 5.0. 6 can't go into 5, so 6 goes into 50 8 times, that's 48. Subtract, I'm going to get 2, bring down the 0. 6 goes into 23 times, that's 18, 6, 12, 18. Subtract, get 2, bring down the 0. Didn't I get a 2 already? Yep, I sure did. 6 goes into 23 times, it's 18. Okay, see what's happening here, guys? I've got 20, subtract 18, 20, subtract 18. If I bring down another 0, it's going to be 20, subtract 18. So you see what's happening, right? The same thing is repeating over and over and over again. So that means this is going to be a repeating decimal. It's a little bit different than the 1/3 though, because we have the 8. So when we rewrite it over here, we're going to put decimal. Remember 4, we just brought it over. Decimal 8, 3. And then remember, your repeating bar can only go over what's repeating. So is the 8 and the 3 repeating? Is it 83, 83, 83, 83? Or is just the 8 once and then the 3 keeps going? Yeah, the 3 keeps going. So we're only going to put the line over the 3. Okay? All right. Pause the video and try number 3. Okay, so number 3, I see the 2. So I'm just going to bring that over. And now I'm going to work on the 5/8. So numerator in, denominator out. 5/8. That's 6, 48. I'm going to kind of do this fast because you should have already done the division. 8/16 is 2. Subtract, I get 4. I wonder if this one's going to be repeating because, man, I have to add another 0. 8 goes into 40. 5 times it. Oh, no. It stopped right there. So 5/8 is the same thing as 625 thousandths. So I brought my 2 over already. So I'm just going to put my decimal and then 625 thousandths. Okay, go ahead, pause the video. Try number 4. Okay, number 4 is 2/9, so numerator in, denominator out. So 2 divided by 9, 9/18, so twice. 18, subtract, I get 2, bring down my 0. 9 goes into 22 times, it's 18, subtract, I get 2. What's happening here, guys? That's right, it is repeating. So how do you write that when it's repeating like that? Yep, 0 and 2/10 repeating. Good job. All right, one left. Pause the video, try it by yourself. Especially if you haven't tried any by yourself yet. Make sure you try this one by yourself. See if you can get it right. Okay, so I'm just going to bring the 9 over. And then I'm going to say 1 divided by 20. Oh, I went crazy with that 20, didn't I? So 20 can't go into 1, so put my 0. 20 into 10. If you have 10, can you get 20 out of it? Nope. So you have to put a 0. Okay, 20 goes into 10 0 times. All right, add another 0. 20 goes into 100. So count by 20s like you count $20 bills, right? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So it goes how many times? 5 times. So 5 times. So 5 times 20 is 100. Subtract and we get a 0. So our 9 and 1/20, so the 9 is equal to 9, and then the 1/20 is equal to 5/100. I'm going to put 0.05. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's how you change a fraction to a decimal. All you have to do is divide. Numerator in, denominator out. Good job, guys.